Afternoon, people. It has been a while since we have embarked upon such proceedings. It's a live Q&A. Good Lord, I haven't spoke. It's been a minute. Yeah, we're gonna do a live Q&A today, but as well as we're gonna go through some self-reflection questions. I've been absent from this channel. It feels like months. It's been refreshing, more or less. It's been refreshing. Today's live stream, 31 questions. This is from openup.com. Self-guided care. And again, the purpose of these questions is just to reflect, to go inward. So in addition to these questions, this is a live Q&A. Ask me anything, any questions you have, anything you want to discuss, hit your boy up. I'm going to be here for a little while. I'm not sure how long. I'm going to see Bad Boys later with some friends. So that should be interesting. That should definitely be interesting. Number one. Let me get right into it. Number one. And answer these questions as we go along. Pause it if you need to, but ask these questions to yourself as we proceed through them. Number one. How can I make my daily life easier and nicer for myself? How can I make my daily life easier and nicer for myself? As I read through these questions initially, the first thought that came to mind was discipline. Discipline, and more discipline, of course. As I look at my life currently, even today, it's been peaceful. It's been kind of boring, but it's been peaceful. And I've noticed that the more disciplined I am, the higher quality of life I live. It's hard to disconnect that correlation. The more disciplined I am, the more freedom I get. The more restaurants I'm able to go to. It just works. So yeah, the discipline is the main thing I focus on, along with wisdom, of course. But discipline. Why? Because it's hard. Most people are not going to be disciplined. And so therefore the spoils go to those who are disciplined and of course those who take risks. And so we're grateful in that regard, that there's less competition along this path. There's less competition in the gym early in the morning. It's always crowded around the most convenient times. Number two. Which thoughts, beliefs, and patterns can I let go of? What or which thoughts, beliefs, and patterns can I let go of? Hmm. The one word that comes to mind first is fear. I don't think you ever outgrow it. No matter how grounded I may be, no matter how stoic that I might intend to be, the fear is always there, and therefore the courageousness is always a requirement, ongoing. Hmm. Which thoughts, beliefs, and patterns can I let go of? I'm starting to find utility in optimism. I'm starting to find great utility in optimism, seeing the good, looking for the good, focusing on the good, the outcomes, the solutions rather than the problems. There's great utility in that. I was watching a TikTok earlier, and a lady was just describing with great detail about how the new job that she just got hired for, they just let go of the person that was supposed to train her. And so she was up in arms. I'm like, why? I just got this job, bro. And all of a sudden, y'all gonna fire the person that was supposed to train me. Now I'm stuck in this place where I'm in a high visibility, high pressurized position, and I have no one to guide me in this new position. It's tough. One thing I commented was focus on the solution at hand. The problem is clear. You've already laid that out. Identifying the problem is half the solution. It's half of it. Now we must focus on what we actually want to achieve and what we want to happen in this case. I'm quite negative. It's quite easy to be negative. It's quite easy to point out the flaws in someone else's plan rather than our own. That's normal. That's normal. Moving on. We may not do all 31, but we need to ask the question. What do I want less of in my life? And where might more come from? What do I want less of in my life? Pain, of course. Less turbulence. Where does pain and turbulence come from? The lack of management. The lack of management. Anything you mismanage will be taken from you. You will lose. It will degrade over time. I hate loss. I hate deficits. I hate inefficiencies, which requires wisdom and planning upfront and proactiveness. Yeah. Sometimes the answer is simple, and a lot of these questions can be answered with wisdom and discipline and consistency and all these pillars and basic concepts that we're all aware of. It's just that the doing. Number 4. What gave me energy over the past year? And what took my energy away? I liked this question when I read it the first time. What gave me energy over the past year? People. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to see Bad Boys tonight. We took up the whole row of G, second to last row in the theater, and that's one of the few areas that I know I get energy from is planned interaction with people that I care about. I mentioned in a previous live stream, the one thing I care about most, the one thing I'm prioritizing now in my life is relationships, both platonic and intimate. If you stay on TikTok long enough, if you on social media long enough, you're gonna realize people are lonely. People are lonely. People are going through midlife, quarter life crises, and we're trying to fill it with stuff. Trying to fill it with stuff. And I'm gonna go to TJ Maxx and buy another candle and buy another outfit and buy more stuff. And I'm going to Amazon. I'm going to Temu and I'm gonna order more and more stuff. And you realize it's not fulfilling anything within you. You're miserable. More stuff is not the solution. Never has been, never will be. You get your dream car, you drive for a week, and you realize now all you have is interest rates and payments and warranties to deal with and breakdowns and depreciation. Relationships grow, they appreciate if they're managed well, if they're managed properly, they grow in value. What gave me energy over the past year? People. People. There's something about waking up with a crush. Waking up, knowing that somebody's gonna text you, or you're waking up to a text from somebody that you like, you care about. There's something about that energy, just knowing. Just knowing. And what took my energy away? I'm not going to answer this too literally in terms of nutrient deficiencies and dehydration, but isolation is definitely a thing. The attempt to do things by myself, the attempt to do things out of my own power. I don't need anyone else. I'll just figure it out myself. TikTok, social media in general, is taking away energy. Makes you lethargic. You lay in the bed and just rotting, just consuming. You lose energy. Another thing that has given me energy over time is just walking. Getting outside in the beautiful Florida sun and walking aimlessly. Audiobooks, doesn't matter, music, listen to YouTube videos, but getting out and moving. Those who manage the little will be giving more. If you're not a good steward over the energy that you do have, and this is literal, if you're not a good steward over the energy you do have, what you do have will be taken from you. The rich get richer for a reason. I heard a quote, the rich get richer and the poor buy dogs and more animals and one more cat, one more puppy. It's wild. Number 5. What do I want to learn? Low key, I want to learn, and I don't actually want to put in the work to learn or acquire this knowledge, but I want to learn multiple different languages. I would love to be a polyglot. Just if I could just to go to any different country and immediately connect with them with their own language and dialect, respectively. It'd be amazing. No icebreaker needed. I mean, you speaking their language is the icebreaker to anyone you come in contact with. The ability to build rapport so quickly, simply by understanding them and them understanding you. I would love to learn Russian, Korean, Cantonese, Mandarin. I just don't want to. It takes so long, and it doesn't have to take that long. You do a little bit a day. But you gotta retain it. You gotta conjugate the verbs. It's a lot. Thankfully, technology, OpenAI, and Perplexity coming along quite nicely should allow for such conversations. What do I want to learn? One thing I've learned recently, not so much specifically, but just in general, is the deficit of information that I live with, that most people live with. I've noticed my progression financially as I was making 30 grand, 50 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand. And you start kind of peaking. You realize, all right, if I had different information or more information in specific areas, where would my money increase or decrease? What don't I know that is causing me to be stuck at my current financial level? What don't I know? And it's costing me money not knowing it. It's costing me money daily to not know what I should know that can make me more money. And the information is available. It's free. It's everywhere already. You have to go in search of it. Number 6. Am I spending my time the way I want to spend it? This question haunts me, as do most of these questions. Um, am I spending my time the way I want to spend it? In most cases, yes, but the most truest answer is no. Most truest answer. I struggle personally in my current place in life. I have the option to go hop on a plane today, right now, and just go. I got my passport already packed. I'm a minimalist, so it'll take me about 10 minutes to pack a bag, and I could be at the airport. But I also could be making money tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. I enjoy making money, but I also enjoy spending it. Now, of course, is there a way that I can make money while traveling? Yes, of course. But at what rate? Shout out to my boy GA, man. Yo, what's good with you? What's good with you, man? Well, yeah, it's a constant struggle, and of course, the Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and it sucks being indecisive about what you want to do versus what you know you should do, versus what you think you need in your life versus what you know or think you might want in your life. I went to Colombia back in March, and I wanted to stay over there so bad, but I'm like, I want to make more money though. And I'm like, well, pour into YouTube. I'm like, that's a barrier. It's a barrier. Cognitive dissonance. It's a barrier. Am I spending my time the way I want to spend it? I'm considering next week taking a little trip. Not sure where I would go. Thinking Jamaica possibly, or the Bahamas. South America is just right there. It's like 2-hour flight. So that's always an option. But most days, my morning schedule, get up quite early in the morning. Do my little Amazon route. Starts around like 3 a.m. Like 3 hours max, 4 hours max. In and out. Get the money, get out. Go sit on somebody's beach, go work out. Have the middle of the day open. Do whatever, which typically I don't do much. And then afternoons we go do another Amazon route, about 3.5 hours. We're done for the day. It's predictable. It comes with, and this is the issue with having a predictable schedule, is that it comes with depression. Depression is the ability to predict how your day is going to go. If you know all the conversations you're going to have, all the people you're going to walk past in the hallway, all the pleasantries you're going to exchange, the food you're going to eat, the money you're going to spend that day on bills, the events that you're going to have to deal with, the problems you're going to have to solve, that comes with depression. Your mind wants excitement somewhat. Spontaneity, serendipity, novelty. Your mind craves that daily. And so when you give it routine is necessary for predictable outcomes, but also comes with, I kind of know what's going to happen for the next 3 days just based off my schedule alone. I want to introduce something different into it. And of course, you have to plan those things. I force myself tonight. I'm going to see a movie. I don't really want. It got Will Smith in it. I don't really want to see him and Eddie Murphy or whoever that other nigga. I don't really care what they talking about, man. It's been a minute since I've seen a quality movie, man. So I gotta go sit in somebody's movie. We're going at 9:20 tonight. 9:20 at night. I'm tired, bro. I want to get up 9:20 at night to go see a movie. Expensive ass popcorn. But I'm doing it to be social. I'm doing it to introduce serendipity into my life, to introduce, spontaneity. If I want extra variables, if I want extra conversations, extra surprises, extra discoveries in my life, I have to plan events that are not based in my routine. It requires energy. That's what I'm sipping on now. A little Crystal Light thing, man. That's a good question. I was listening to, I believe it was Jim Rohn. And of course, these questions are quite popular in nature in terms of like, all right, if you had 3 years to live, what would change about your day? If you had 1 year to live, what would change about your right now, your current day? What would you stop doing? What would you keep doing? If social media stopped existing, if you were alone in the world, if all the infrastructure stayed in place, society remained at large, minus the people, and you could do anything and no one could know, no one would know, or you could stop doing anything and no one would know, no one could know, what would you stop doing or start doing? And of course, money is a huge barrier to most people. Most people just, if I can afford to do anything, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, stay in my lane. I'm like, imagine, just think about it. Thinking is free. You can go anywhere in your mind. Just think about it. Just think about it. What would you do? What would you change? What would you embark upon? What would you try? What would you attempt? It's one of my favorite questions to ask myself. Number 7. What is holding me back from living the life I want to live? Fear. Fear. I always ask myself this question. If I was an addicted gambler, if I was addicted to gambling of any kind, I would have thousands of dollars flowing through my hands, going into somebody's slot machine, somebody's roulette table, somebody's blackjack, somebody's Texas Hold'em, tournament. Money will be flowing through my hands. Other people's money will be flowing through my hands. All my devices, all my assets will be traded for currency that I could gamble with immediately. The question is, where's that money now? That money is still accessible. I just don't have the addiction. So money is not so much the issue. Money is not the issue. What is holding me back from living the life I want to live? It's fear. It's what holds most people back. I posted on TikTok, I believe it was yesterday, that most people will attempt the safer route because they fear, what if I fail? I might as well choose something that I know I can achieve. I'm like, what if you fail at the safe option instead of going after your preferred option? Why would you assume you're going to be successful at the safe option? What is holding me back from living the life I want to live? Yeah, it's fear. It's not the lack of discipline. It's not the lack of resources. It's not the lack of people, encouragement, energy, health, time. I'm not sitting in anybody's cubicle. It's the middle of the day. It's 3:43 p.m. Eastern. I can go do it right now. The question is, why not? Why not tomorrow morning? The answer in most cases is fear. There are people that are broker than you that are traveling the world. Now, they may be doing it with debt. This is why you shouldn't be envying people because of their Instagram posts and their TikToks. You're like, these people are in debt, drowning in debt. I'm sitting here debt free. I'm like, I don't want to go into debt to do anything. I do not want to go into debt to do anything. For what? It took me this long, years, to finally get in a place where I'm financially at peace. At peace. All my bills are paid. All of them. All of them. I don't want to add another credit card payment. I'm like, I just throw this on there. I'm like, we'll pay with cash. I like my little cushion. And then you realize it could all be gone tomorrow. Your health could be gone tomorrow. We could break out in war tomorrow. All right, I'm sure you guys have heard about the little bill passed through Congress concerning the draft. 18, males 18 to 26 automatically being signed up. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And now that I believe the Democrats are adding women to the bill in terms of registering for the draft. It's just one thing after another. It's one thing after another. We always assume that we'll have the same freedoms or liberties, rather. We always assume that we'll have the same liberties that we have today, tomorrow. Life could be very different tomorrow. COVID taught us that. Your life today could be very much different tomorrow. And by assuming that tomorrow will be just normal, you're losing opportunities. You're losing opportunities. Ray, you're losing opportunities. What is holding me back from living the life I want to live? Other people's approval will have you sitting in the same spot for years. I was listening to Dave Ramsey this morning, and a 19-year-old called in and said he's been living with his mom, his two sisters, and he's basically kind of supporting the family as a 19-year-old, supporting his mom and two sisters. I'm like, Dave Ramsey was quite clear. I'm like, bro, make a choice. Guilt for leaving or resentment for staying. Make a choice. We all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. We all want to be appreciated. We all want people to think well of us. But you got to choose. Guilt. Do you want to feel guilty about the decision you're going to make? Or do you want to have resentment for the indecision or the decision that you made? It's tough. Pick one. The need for other people's approval will keep you in one place, just wondering, what will people think of me? You have no way of knowing that. You have no way of knowing what someone thinks of you, and yet you're trying to guess. You're trying to make decisions based off what somebody might be thinking about you. It's a waste of energy. Moving on. Number 8. In what areas am I underestimating myself? In what areas am I underestimating myself? One of my favorite quotes, I believe it was by The Healthy Gamer. Anxiety is an overestimation of the problem and an underestimation of your ability to deal with the problem. Got a little question. Why did you take your "No One Cares About You" video? Did I take it down? So when videos disappear, it's probably because I'm having a mental battle within of whether or not I still believe in certain things. There's a lot of videos that you probably won't even notice that are gone. And yeah, it's an ongoing thing, especially as someone who kind of, I like to assume I'm wrong so I can have right information. I don't care who has the right answer. I want the right answer so I can move correctly. And so often I'll look at my channel and I'll go through my own playlist and just let it play. And I'll wait to come across information that I've said myself that I may or may not disagree with currently. And so that video specifically, I'm not sure, because I still kind of believe that. So I have to look into that. I might put it back up depending on where I have to listen to it again. But yeah, I still more or less agree with it. So yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. In what areas am I underestimating myself? In what areas am I underestimating myself? Video hits so deep. I appreciate you. It's facts. One thing about anxiety is that there's an underlying assumption that people around us care about us more than we think they do. In all honesty, most people do not care. In most cases, people do not care to the extent that we think they do. I'm like, oh, they're looking at me and they're seeing this drop on my shirt and they're observing me so closely and perceiving me, and this fear of being seen is based on a lot of false ideas, false concepts, false belief systems. And then we start making decisions based off the false belief systems. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And a lot of us, including myself, we will make so many decisions based off what we think someone wants from us. And we may never get the answer. We may never get the correct answer about what they think. And of course, what does it matter what they think? The person's not paying your bills. They're not going to be there if you mess up. They're not going to be there. Well, they may try to be there if you're successful. But ultimately, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's a fallacy. People do care about you. So, of course, in the absolute nature of the phrase, no one cares about you, it's false, because people do care about you in the form of kindness, in the form of compassion. in the form of selfishness. Some people like, I need you to survive, so I can get your help over here. I need you to be around, so I can get this help over here. During tax season, I need your affection because I got these things I'm trying like PS6 coming out, bruh. No PS6, bruh. I need that. So of course I need you to help fund some of these things, right? You will never know why someone's pursuing you. It's most of the time an assumption of why people are pursuing us. Anyway, in what areas am I underestimating myself? There's a part of me, and I've never said this out loud, but I've been thinking about it deeply. Why am I not working in sales? I know I could work in sales. I know I could sell some cars. I could sell just about anything as long as I have, background information on what I'm selling. Even without it, I'm great at rationalizing. I'm quite persuasive. And then part of me thinks, I'll just keep doing these Amazon routes. It's peaceful. It's predictable. I ain't got to talk to nobody. I ain't got to deal with personalities. I ain't got to deal with rejection. Just pick up my packages, go door to door, drop them off. Done. All you got to do is maintain your car maintenance. That's it. Be proactive with your car maintenance. That's literally the whole job. Amazon Flex. I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite job to date. My favorite job, Amazon Flex. It's not working for Amazon, but you're a contractor with Amazon. You drive your own car. My route starts anywhere from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. They go from 2.5 hours to 5 hours in length. And so typically my work days are no longer than like 6 hours. Like I work about 6 hours a day, typically. It's peaceful. It's peaceful. Takes me all over Florida. I've been as far as down as, obviously, well, in terms of work, it's taking me all the way down to Miami. As far north as Sebastian, probably. Boca Raton area, Jupiter. I'm all up in there. West Palm. I enjoy it. But there's a part of me that knows, bro, you could be in sales, bro. That's where the money's at. Everyone's complaining about 9-to-5 jobs. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm tired of clocking in. I'm tired of working these dusty, dead-end jobs. I'm like, bro, all the money's in sales. If you want to get paid according to your time and effort, get into sales. And I'm going to get off that. I'm not going to try to convince someone of something that I haven't done myself. Sama DA says, you are an officer soldier, aren't you? I am not. I'm a retired Air Force veteran. I always take offense when people call me a soldier. Like, no, bruh. No, bruh. I'm an intellectual. Intellectuals do not frequent the ranks of the Army. And yeah, I was enlisted as well. I truly believe I could be doing more. And the issue comes about, why am I not doing more? Why am I not doing more? If I know I can do more, if I know I've done more, it's not like I'm walking around as a zombie, like I don't have energy, I'm not getting sleep, I don't have enough resources. I have surplus of most things. I'm not lonely. That was an issue months ago. I'm not lonely at all. I have people around me. I have friends. Like I went from 0 friends, like spending most days just by myself with no one around me, to literally a pool of friends that we meet every other Wednesday at church, and then we have outings just about weekly, sometimes twice a week. Quality people. And so my excuses have dried up. Once you get to a place where I don't have any excuses left, like go try something that you've never tried before, but you possibly could be good at. Just try. And of course, the reasoning behind why aren't you trying, why aren't you going out on a limb? It's fear. It's fear. It's fear. Moving on. By the way, if you have any questions, this is Ask Me Anything. Doesn't have to be on topic. Doesn't have to be about self-reflection or wisdom. It could just be about anything you've come across, your own daily life. Um, yeah, ask away. Appreciate everyone who's come through already. Um, GA and Sama DA. Appreciate y'all for your comments and what have you. What else we got, man? Number 9. What were my greatest moments this year? Hey Siri, how many days until Christmas?
It's 100.
There's 187 days until Christmas. This year's coming to a close quite quickly. Sama says, I understand that because you are Virgo and you have a lot of energy. I'm a Virgo. I don't know how you know my birthday, man. This might be somebody I know. Who is this, bruh? Who is this, bruh? How you know what month I was born in? Yeah, I do typically have more energy than I. Yeah, I think my energy is, as long as I'm proactive with my sleep, because I tend to let TikTok and my TV have their way with me during the midnight hours. Sometimes I wake up at midnight and I just start scrolling TikTok and I'm up to like 2. I'm like, nigga, what are you doing, bro? That blue light is not good for you. What were my greatest moments this year? Colombia, for one. Not that it was such a journey, because it was only like two and a half hour flight. It took little to no logistics. I just parked my car at a hotel, hopped on a plane. I was there within a couple hours. It's quite easy. The language, I've been speaking Spanish more or less since middle school. So I have quite a good grasp of the Spanish language. And so that was definitely helpful. But it was the fear. It was the fear of like, yo, cartels slinging cocaine. Will they have their way with my person? Will they try to rob me in the streets? And you get there and like, these people are so kind and peaceful and thoughtful, and it's too much. You overthink it. So yeah, definitely overcoming fears concerning Colombia. I was in a relationship a couple weeks ago. It was brief. But within that brief span, quality moments. You guys know, one of my favorite quotes, we fail to enjoy relationships because of the belief that they should be permanent. I'm a person who doesn't mind a brief relationship. As long as I know I'm giving my best effort, I'm telling the truth, I'm being honest with the other person, it's enjoyable. It doesn't have to be a lifelong relationship for me to enjoy it. Did I enjoy the moments? Of course. Greatest moments. Getting back involved in church. This wasn't a moment, it was more of a process. But the process contained many different moments of choices, of saying, I'm going to stay. I'm not going to run. I'm not just going to ghost the church, ghost, the musicians, ghost the people, the friendships that I've made. And I've seen the results. I've seen the results of me staying, of me trying, remaining. Comes down to moments. Courage comes down to moments. Courage requires about 20 seconds of your day. About 20 seconds at a time of your day is courage. It's a moment. It's a choice. Within that brief moment of time, what will you choose? Your life consists of just thousands and millions and billions of moments, of choices. This book I read was a quality moment in time, The Compound Effect. And I thought about making a whole video about it. And of course I didn't, because of multiple reasons. It's a rich tapestry of thoughts that went into not making that video, or videos rather. But The Compound Effect, if you haven't read The Compound Effect, turn this video off. Stop watching me, all 3 of you. Stop watching this video Go on YouTube, type in the Compound Effect audiobook. It's a 4-hour video. Watch that video and then do what it says. Just do what it says. There's something I'm saying in this video that will be more valuable than reading that book. That book unlocked so many different simple ideas. It's things that I was already doing, but again, it puts a label on it. It helps you identify certain habits, certain behaviors that, all right, I need to double down on this right here. I need to double down on that. And now you know why. The compound effect. But the longer you know someone who you feel comfortable with, the more you feel the miracle of connection. That is true. It requires a lot more risk on both sides, of course. You're investing time, money, resources, emotional currency, giving that to someone else. Yeah. Connection is, I'm starting to realize, if we're going through self-reflection questions, might as well be honest and vulnerable. I'm starting to realize I have a fear of commitment. I'm always thinking about the sunk cost fallacy. I'm like, I don't ever want to get to a point where I've invested so much, and then I look back at where I started. I'm like, I've put too much in here. I can't walk away now. And of course, with that thought process, results in I don't want to commit to anything long term. Just get in and get out. I did that with the military. I've done that historically with my relationships, overthinking, rationalizing behavior. I've quit school for the 3rd time. 3 strikes, you're out. Leaving a lot of money on the table with my VA loan. It's over with. I tried. Miserable going to school. You'll start noticing patterns. And again, I'm not coming on here to preach to anyone. I'm here documenting. I'm here to document. And what I've learned over time is that quitting, it's a habit. It's addicting. You do it once, you realize, ooh, I can just walk away. I can just leave everything where I left it and just walk away. You kind of get used to that. I was listening to a Christian pastor, and he said the time to break up with someone is while you're dating, not when you're married. It's a lot easier to jump ship early in the process. When I'm close to shore, it's just, that's the time to jump off. Don't wait till you're in the middle of the sea. Wait till you're a mile offshore to jump ship. And it becomes a problem when you internalize that and you start bringing that to all areas of your life. It's not healthy. I can admit that. And it will destroy a lot of areas in your life by making that a habit of, I'm just going to quit and start over, and I'm just going to bail on this, and I'm going to quit on this. It's not healthy. I had a lot of great moments this year so far, and many more to come. You understand? Many more to come. Number 10. What is missing in my life, and how can I get that? I like this question. What is missing in my life, and how can I get it? It's a deep question. Make sure you're answering these questions to yourself or in the chat. Ask yourself these questions as well as we go along. What is missing in my life, and how can I get it? Sama says tranquility. Interesting. Why is that? Sama DA. Why is tranquility missing from your life? I would say accountability. Accountability is missing from my life. I'm the judge, the jury, and the prosecuting lawyer and the defense lawyer in my life. I make all the decisions for myself, and I rationalize all decisions being made, typically by myself, outside of internet resources and personalities. But I typically don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of, nor do I pursue opinions on my decisions. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's a fact. I haven't smoked weed in what's probably around 45 days currently. And the one thing that helped me do so was accountability, was telling people around me, the group chat, yo, I just drove past the smoke shop. I smelled some sweet aroma. Your boy's in need. Your boy's struggling. And instantly you get 15 people on your neck. Bro, get your life together, man. Go take you a cold shower. Go work out. Go to bed. Go pray. It's the only way I made it this far. And it's the only way I'll keep going, is the accountability of others and people that are willing to hold you to your word. And to even my pastor on Sunday, he talked about getting your sin out into the open. All these secrets that we walk around with, just hiding stuff and like, oh, I don't want no one to know about what I'm struggling with. Meanwhile, everyone around you is struggling with something similar, if not the same thing. Get it out the open. Do I vape anymore? Nope. I haven't had nicotine in a little bit less than 45 days. I am quite partial to a backwood, cigars. In my life, there's tiers of addiction. So at the top, there's probably two things at the top: sugar and weed are probably the top two things that held me captive, like chain around my neck. And weed doesn't really have any symptoms to me outside of maybe emotional stability. Because when I'm high, I just float. Nothing bothers me. Nothing gets to me. I just float. Sugar doesn't really bother me. Fast all day. It's easier to just go without food at all completely than to like try to have a little bit of sugar in the morning, a little bit of sugar at lunch, a little bit of sugar at dinner, and like try to manage the dose. Like, nah. You want to manage the dose of poison. Alcohol, purely social, purely peer pressure in terms of when I consume alcohol. And the hangover alone, every time I have a hangover, it just reminds me of why I don't drink alcohol. It instantly reminds me, there's no benefit to this. You get temporary float. You get temporary feelings that are somewhat enjoyable. But for the next 12 to 24 hours, you're going to feel it. Thankfully, weed doesn't have those after effects. Nicotine doesn't have those after effects outside of the need to refill, to have more, to consume more. Yeah. Accountability is the number one thing I think any man in general the one thing that's going to anchor you in your decision making is knowing that somebody that you respect knows what you're trying to accomplish. Someone you respect, someone that you don't want to let down, someone that if they saw you breaking your word, going against what you said you were going to do, you would feel something comparable to guilt, shame. It's necessary. It's good for you. GA says, I have that dilemma. I feel like I have grew so much and my wife had stayed behind. I'm trying to carry her with me by teaching her by example so we can grow together instead of apart. That's a great way to put it. Teaching by example. It's not always effective. Sometimes people need to be handheld. And that's a form of love, correction. Sometimes you need to be hands-on. I've had so many people in my life that were hands-on in my development. I got my license because someone was hands-on. Like, Ray, go get your permit. Like, no, here's the money, go get your permit. Someone was hands-on helping me. I've had multiple trainers that were hands-on. Nigga, bro, write down all the food you ate, send it to me. You know, training for the military, someone was hands-on. Climb that rope. Get up there, go. Basic training, it's hands-on. They show you by example. Look at my uniform. Look at yours. What's the difference? And then after they're done showing you, all right, front lean and rest. Get down, bruh. Give me them things. Hands on as necessary. So yeah, teaching by example or leading by example with your actions is definitely probably the number one place I would start. You don't want to be teaching something you're not doing currently. You don't want to be teaching and telling someone else to do something that you're not currently doing in your own life. After you've done so, sometimes other people they need a visual example. They need a hands-on example. This is how you do this. Everyone learns differently. It's humbling when you remember and you realize not everyone learns the way you do, and some people need a little bit more help than others. A little bit more help than others. So yeah, accountability. I could use more of that in my life. I could definitely use more accountability. And by the opposite sex as well, not just by men, because a man learns how to be a great man from great men, from great men. But when you talk to women, you get a different view of the world. This is why I went to go see the Barbie movie. It wasn't created for men. It was marketed to women, little girls. So when I went to go see it, it gave me a different view of the world. I'm like, that's interesting. And of course, a lot of masculine men, traditional men, conservative men might take issue with it. And of course, there are a lot of parts of it that I took issue with this as well. But again, it wasn't built for me. It wasn't made for me. So if there was parts of it that were abrasive, yeah, it was meant to be. It was meant to be so. But there's nothing like a quality woman that can give you insights and see things just slightly different. And like, well, yeah, you were right, but you could have did this better. You could have did this differently. Could have approached it differently. You could have asked more questions. I think one of the major issues with dating today and relationships today is the inability to communicate the way other people understand. Can you communicate the way other people take in information? Or do you just, like, you see like Fresh and Fit, all these dusty podcasts where you're trying to force logic down someone's throat? I'm like, what makes you think that they were capable of ingesting logic in large volumes and quantities? That's why they're there in the first place. The ability to learn logic, the laws of contradiction, the laws of it's ongoing. How can I get that? Vulnerability. What is missing from my life and how can I get that? What's missing from my life is accountability. The way you get accountability is vulnerability. You have to tell someone, you have to risk rejection, you have to risk judgment, you have to risk embarrassment. You have to risk taking a hit to your pride, telling someone what you're struggling with, what you're trying to accomplish, what your goals are, where you're trying to go. That's one way to do it. I'll go out on a limb and say there are no exceptions. If you want accountability in your life, you want someone to help you get to where you're going, you have to admit, I need help. Men's Mental Health Month, ask for help. Ask for help. Even Andrew Tate, the most masculine man ever, has a lawyer. He needs help. He has a brother who's right there with him. He has a group of men that he speaks with and has a group chat with, and people he hangs with, people he confides in, people he gets advice from. The president, a team of advisors, a cabinet, people that you have to go to and get their point of view. You're making a decision, but you get insights. It's a vulnerable position. The most powerful man in the world has to ask other people what they think before they make major decisions. Now, of course, how effective is that? How's Biden doing with where's the ball landing versus politics? Vulnerability is a superpower. Just like discipline, just like consistency. Why? Because most people aren't willing to do it. The easiest way to get ahead in life is just make a list of things that most people aren't willing to do and start doing those things. Getting up early. Most people don't want to get up early because they're tired. Their bed's comfortable. They have the fan on and the air conditioning on. So most of the opportunities are available when most people are asleep. And then I'll go take a nap when they're at work. When they wake up and go back to their easy 9 to 5s, I already did my little 3-hour shift, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'll go back to bed. I made roughly around like 130 to 150 bucks in the Air Force a day. I make that before noon. And I got the rest of my... Make a list of everything that most people aren't willing to do and start doing those things. Think of all the things right now that you are unwilling to do to achieve your goals. Those are all the things I'm doing daily. In addition to the things that I know will make me successful. It's that simple. It's a numbers game. If most men are afraid to approach women, I'm going to approach the prettiest women because I know they're not getting approached. Most men are, I'm just going to watch in the shadows. I'm going to hope. I'm going to hope that she comes talk to me. In that time that you're waiting, I'm going to talk to them. Simple as that. All the spoils of this world go to the risk takers, not to the moral, not to the religious, not to the ethical, to the risk takers, people that aren't afraid. That's why I constantly talk about my vulnerability of being afraid, my fears. I got the same fears as everybody else, but I know the right answer. I know the right answer. This channel, I've been trying to grow this thing since 2017. Never had a viral video on TikTok or YouTube. I've had a lot of successful videos in terms of just, lots of views and subscribers. And I've been getting paid from YouTube for the longest. Every month I get a check, direct deposit. But I still deal with the fact that, I only got 3 people watching, man. I only got 1 person watching. Nobody watching. I ain't got no comments. I ain't got no super chats. I ain't got no likes. And most people are unwilling to try. Percentages, not in quantity, but in percentages. I'm in the 1% of people that try. The 1%. That's the whole point. What else we got? Number 11. What mistakes have I made? What have I learned from them? This could be its own video alone. The number one mistake I've made, and this is quite material in nature, but it's very relevant because it affects everyone's life. Mismanagement of money. The mismanagement of money has been my greatest downfall up until this year. There's something about, especially this year, I felt my frontal cortex complete its development. I felt it because certain things just clicked. Compound interest. I need to be investing 10% of my income at a minimum. And then you start doing it and you realize, Brett, I could have been doing this my entire 20s. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, and you're not investing in the stock market, you're behind. You're behind. And you can watch so many videos that, don't think you're behind in life. You're not behind in life. You're behind. Because you're missing out on money that you could be gaining. The stock market is doing amazingly. Despite what you might think about the stock market and the CEOs and Boeing CEO making $43 million and his company and the employees only making, they got a 1% raise. He got a 45% raise. Yeah, that's what happens when you have leverage. That's what happens when you can't be as easily replaced as everyone else. That's what happens when you have more risk. That's what happens. But yeah, inflation is at 2%, and in most cases, you're getting 8 to 9% minimum in the stock market per year. Most people are buying products instead of buying the companies. I made the mistake my entire 20s, buying assets versus buying liabilities. I've been buying liabilities for most of my life. Buying stuff, buying food, I want to go to a restaurant. I don't want to make a sandwich at home. And then you go to a restaurant and you get the same sandwich you could have made at home, but you paid $30 for it, plus tip. It's foolishness. Listen to Dave Ramsey for any amount of time, and you'll start seeing yourself in other people's stories. Oh yeah, I got a credit card because my puppy got sick, and then I spent 10 grand to save my puppy's life. Let that dog die. Let the dog die. People will spend $10,000 on a credit card for a dog that's going to live maybe a couple more years, and it's going to die again. But you're still paying the interest on this for the rest of your life. You can go to the military for 4 years. You can go part-time or full-time and get a free education. Free education in college. People don't want to go to, the draft. I don't want to be drafted to the military. Some of y'all should be drafted. Some of y'all should want to be drafted. Y'all see these student loans taking people's lives nonstop, people. You want to give the military 4 years, but you'll get these student loans your entire life. Your entire life. Trying to pay down these student loans. It's foolishness. And a lot of it's ignorance because you just don't know. Is the Air Force really that bad? Is the military that bad? Who knows? It can't be worse than what you're doing currently. Making $20 an hour, $50,000 in student loan debt, $50,000 in consumer debt. Got a car loan out for a car that just sits at your job, your place of employment, while you sit in there and work around the clock to just be late on the payment. And then you got car insurance, you got a phone bill, and groceries, and gas. And then you try to take a vacation, so you put that on the credit card, and then now you got that. It's foolishness. I made all those mistakes, all of them. I've made all those mistakes, minus 10 grand for a pet, but I've spent 10 grand on other dumb stuff. I've maxed out credit cards personally. To the point it's nauseating. I'm like, nigga, what were you doing, bruh? You thought that was free money? The right answer is always available. But we get impatient and we rush. Debt is proof of impatience. We want the thing yesterday. The one thing that builds character for me on YouTube is the fact that I got 6 people watching, not 6,000. It builds character. It's humbling to realize, yeah, there's a process in place. You can't go months in between videos and expect constant growth, even though I am growing still. I see all the analytics. You see growth, but it's not consistent. Why? Because I'm not consistent. I've made all these mistakes, all of them. Sleeping, having sex unprotected. Thank goodness I haven't dealt with any consequences because of that. What was it? Some crazy 42,000 people. I pull up Houston STD. These numbers were staggering. It was something crazy. That might be false. Yeah, this is why you don't rush to say stuff. Some told me this article. The Houston Health Department launched an investigation after social media posts falsely claimed more than 46,000 Houstonians recently tested positive for sexual transmitted disease. It only took 24 hours for the... Who knows if it's true or not? Let's assume it's true for these purposes. It's foolish. It's foolish. People risking their entire future for 45 minutes of pleasure. I've done it myself. I've been there, trust me. One thing led to another, and we were just in the moment, and I had a couple drinks, she had a couple drinks. I was smoking on something, she was smoking on something, and we just kind of one thing. Netflix was playing in the background, one thing led to another. It's too much. It's too much. Now we out here, niggas paying child support, complaining. Women trying to raise kids by themselves, working a job, dealing with childcare expenses, complaining, struggling. The economy, inflation, bills going up. Yeah. Some of us are blessed that we haven't dealt with the consequences thereof. But in other areas, yeah, there's consequences. So yeah, I've made countless mistakes in my short 31 years of life. And thankfully, I haven't made the big ones, because there are some big ones out there that the consequences derail everything, derail everything. No matter how you try to recover from it, there's some things you just it's gonna be more difficult than other situations to recover from. I watched a TikTok the other day of a lady. She said she was going through something and she got involved in a armed robbery, and she was in the right place, wrong time, wrong place, right time, whatever. And now she got a charge, and now she's trying to get a job at gas stations, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, anything. Get denied. Nope, 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 nope. I've had friends in the military get kicked out for dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. Dishonorable discharge, I'm telling you, it's tough. It's not possible, but it's tough. It changes a lot of your options to where now you're trying to pick up the pieces of what's left of your life because one singular moment, one mistake. GA says Dave Ramsey uses terminology called financial infidelity. So I ask, from a Christian perspective, divorce is not acceptable, but if it is, it's because of adultery. That's financial infidelity versus infidelity, same or no? It's an interesting question. So for those you don't know, financial infidelity is essentially where, let's say your husband or wife takes a credit card or applies for a credit card without your knowledge, and they go run it up or something, and you find out later, years later or months later, weeks later, yo, why do we have $5,000 sitting on a credit card that I don't know about? Oh yeah, I felt an impulse. It was a great deal at TJ Maxx, and they said I can get 10% off if I just apply it in the store, and then now you're dealing with the ramifications of that. Dave Ramsey calls that financial infidelity. I wouldn't call that proper reasoning for divorce, according to the Bible at least, because the Bible is quite clear on what adultery is. It's quite clear on that. And so I would not dare to remove or add to what the scripture says in that regard. But it's definitely an issue. I mean, most divorces are a result of financial problems, financial struggles, the inability to communicate properly, the unwillingness to communicate properly, the unwillingness to lay down one's pride and be vulnerable or concede or compromise. A lot of those issues should be addressed before you get married, but yeah, it requires proactivity and effort and the willingness of both parties. So yeah, I wouldn't think that that's also grounds for divorce according to the Bible. But of course, who consults the Bible before they get divorced nowadays? I feel like people just, time to go. Time to go. Yeah. They'll consult the Bible or anyone else for that matter. But if anything, they consult lawyers because that's the only way to get out of a marriage. Is you need two lawyers and a judge, which is wild. So yeah, I made many mistakes. The biggest one, at least in my mind, has been not gaining the powerful, compounding of interest over the course of my entire 20s. 10 years gone. 10 years gone. Can't get it back. So yeah, if you have time, take advantage of it. There's information that you don't have right now that is costing you money. That's costing you money. I always ask myself, what would my 50-year-old self think my currently 31-year-old self? What would my 50-year-old self be angry and pissed and regretful that my 31-year-old self did not know or do? Questions I didn't ask at 31 that I'll have to deal with the consequences at 50 when I have less energy, supposedly. We all assume that we'll be, I'm going to be in the greatest shape of my life. At 50, I'm going to be running marathons and I'm going to be healthy and lifting weights. I'm like, yeah, I hope you're doing the things today that will lead to that end result. Touching weights today and tomorrow and the next day. Again, read the compound effect. You realize that it's not just about money. It's about any decision you make has a compounding effect over time, both good and bad. If you make bad decisions, me smoking weed, smoking nicotine, drinking, it compounds. Unprotected sex, it compounds. People having whole phases, both male and female, all you're doing is increasing the probability of getting STD, having children out of wedlock, child support, single motherhood, single fatherhood. Neither one is easy. People just signing up for stuff. The transitive property, you don't realize the compounding of This person has sex with 10 people. You have sex with 10 people. They have sex with 10 people. It compounds. At some point, y'all gonna overlap. At some point, you're gonna overlap with somebody you don't want to overlap with. There's an Ozempic for herpes. We're just, I'm skinny now. Yeah, no. There's a consequence. And so yeah, be aware of which mistakes you're willing participating in. Be careful of the mistakes that you're willingly participating in. Some of them you can't recover from. Adam and Eve taught us one mistake, one decision. Now look at us. One last thing on this topic, and then we'll move on. When it comes to obedience, and it's something I struggle with personally, that's why I'm able to talk to it, is the struggle of obedience to God's word, to God's law. And I'm like, did he really mean wait till marriage to have sex? Did he really mean that? And then you realize the punishment is built into the decision. The punishment is built in, just like the rewards are built in. If you go to the gym, the rewards are built in to going to the gym. They're built in. You can't halfway go to the gym and halfway get... No, if you go to the gym, you get the results of going to the gym. Automatically. They're built in already. That's why the compound effect, it's both emotional and material. The emotion, that's why Dave Ramsey, we're talking about him. Dave Ramsey talks about snowballing. Baby step 1, or 2 rather, where you're paying off small debts to largest debts. And the emotional momentum you get from that. It applies to the gym. It applies to healthy eating. It applies to reading every day. It applies to making my bed. I've been making my bed every day for some months now. But it started with one morning where I said, what if I just made my bed this morning? And then I liked how that felt. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'll go to the gym today. I'm just gonna walk. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm not touching nobody's machines, touching no barbells. I ain't touching no weights. I'm just gonna go to the gym and walk. I'm gonna scroll TikTok on the treadmill. And then you go the next day, and then the next day, and then all right, I'm gonna do one compound movement. I'm not gonna do anything else, nothing else. I'm gonna walk the treadmill, and I'm gonna do one compound movement with a barbell, and I'm walking out. And you do that, and then the next day, I'm just gonna do the treadmill, and I'm gonna do one different compound movement. Yesterday I did overhead press. Today I'll do bench press, and then walk out. I'm done. The next day I'm gonna do treadmill and one other compound movement. The day before I did overhead press. Yesterday I did bench press. Today I'll do squats. You'll notice you start getting momentum. It's not about doing everything in one day. It's about doing one thing right now, and then the next moment one thing right now. You realize it compounds both emotionally and materially. If you do something consistently, you get the results of it when it accrues. And again, this applies to both negative decisions you shouldn't be doing. It compounds. You don't see the results immediately. Where I eat some sugar, and then your body just, oh my God, the results of fructose poisoning. Yeah, you don't get gangrene the same day you eat some sugar, but over time. So that's why moment to moment, quality decision making. And it's tough. As someone who has a lot of time on his hands, I got money in the bank and a lot of time on my hands. It's tough. Quality decision making. Moving on. Number 12. How will I approach things differently next year? This is projecting quite far off. How will I approach things differently next year? One common theme of all my New Year's resolutions, all of them, is discipline. I want more discipline. Why? Mainly because I've experienced some of the effects, if not most of the effects, of what happens when you are disciplined. It's not bad. It doesn't hurt. It makes you feel good. The benefits of discipline are amazing. They're amazing. Most people will never. Just imagine the life you could be living if you were disciplined in every decision you made, in every day of your life, including weekends, including holidays. What if you were disciplined? What would your life look like? How well is the disciplined version of you living? Think about that. How well is the disciplined version of you living? So yeah, next year I plan on being more disciplined. More disciplined. Um, how will I approach things differently next year? I'm gonna approach relationships even more seriously. Even more seriously. Relationships are a tough one for me. It, it doesn't come. It doesn't seem to come naturally to me to just be in a relationship. I don't know, but I have goals surrounding relationships and children and the life I want to live one day, which requires reps. You gotta try. You gotta practice. You gotta learn. You gotta fail. I'll definitely be failing more next year. Failing more. Failing more. Yeah, you try things, you're not going to succeed the first time on everything. I kind of expect myself to. I'm not used to losing. I hate losing. And so I tend to avoid it by preparing and competing and trying and cheating if I need to. But yeah, failure is a part of that process. Moving on. Number 13. What is important to me in life? Am I organizing my life accordingly? That's a good question. What is important to me in life? Am I organizing my life accordingly? The number one thing that I value was options. I've put a little more finer point on it. Agility. Agility. It's one thing to go in a straight line quickly. Like I can go to point A to point B quickly. But what if I want to zigzag along the way? What if I don't want to go in a straight line? I want to go sideways and then forwards and then vertical and horizontal and then upwards and then diagonally and then backwards a little bit and then go back that way. What if I want to choose moment to moment what I do? Probably my favorite example, the best example in this case, when traveling, do I want to just go straight from here to Europe, or do I want to stop along the way? Just stop in South Africa, and then make a stop in Tokyo, and then make a stop in New Zealand, and then make a little stay a week in Australia, and then from there we'll go to Russia, and then we'll circle around. Agility, the ability to choose from moment to moment, without stress, without the pressure of how do I clock in from this time zone. What time zone am I in? Because my boss gonna be asking me he gonna be checking on me on Microsoft Threads or Teams, make sure I'm doing my job, and I got a software that's gonna move my mouse around while I'm supposed to be working. I don't want to do it, and thankfully I don't have to do all that. Thankfully, by the grace of God, I don't have to deal with someone Ray, are you clocked in? Are you at home? Or where are you? Are you at the airport? Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that. This partly goes into the latter part of the question. Am I organizing my life accordingly? Yes. Not in every area, because I definitely can improve in this area, especially in regards to my money. Money doesn't bring happiness, but it gives you options. It gives you the ability to choose. If I gave you 4 people watching right now $100,000 each, what would change in your life immediately? If I gave you $1 million, what would change in your life immediately? If I gave you $10 million, what would change in your life immediately? I doubt anyone on the side of my voice would be working a job, especially a job you hate. And then, of course, the follow-up question would be, how long before you are back doing what you hate because you lost or mismanaged the money I gave you? Organizing your life in correlation or in relation to your goals also requires maintaining your progress, maintaining it. What good is it to be a millionaire today and be in poverty tomorrow? Why can't I be a millionaire today and tomorrow and the next day? I've heard this saying about happiness is like, we think happiness is like, I worked for 10 years, then I retired, and I was happy the rest of my life. No, happiness is like taking a shower. It's like sleeping at night. It's like eating. You have to do it regularly. You have to achieve it regularly. It's not something you get and you just hold it on forever. Happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. But one thing that I value in my life is agility, options, the ability to say yes or no, and I benefit either way. Either way. I don't want yes and no, and I got to deal with consequences. And like, well, because you said no, you got these consequences, and we're gonna reduce your hours. And nah, if I say yes, I benefit. If I say no, I benefit. I value options. And options requires foundational work. It requires years of investment. A lot of people in their 20s gave their 20s to college, to parties, to going out, to traveling Europe. I gave my 20s to the Air Force. I gave my teens to McDonald's. Make choices. I'm not saying it's the right choice. I could be living a completely different life right now, for better or for worse. But what you choose to invest your time in, you can, again, the compound effect. Look down the road and what will I get later from what I'm doing today? A lot of people think I have to invest $100 million today in Apple stock when you could just buy $10 worth. You could buy $10 today, and then a couple days from now, buy another $10, and then a couple days from then, another $10. And the compound effect applies just as much to you as it does to Warren Buffett. But we won't start with the small. And we expect the big, and we expect I'm going to manifest millions of dollars in this dream life I have, when no, it starts with what you have currently. Currently. It doesn't matter how much you have right now. You got 12 cents. What are you going to do with that 12 cents? People walk past quarters and pennies every day and don't even think about picking up. But then we think, well, if it was $1 million, I'll pick that up. Why did you walk past those 100 quarters that you just walked past? It's the mindset. Agility it's a privilege. Options are a privilege to those who make quality decisions. The one area that I need to improve more so, and there's multiple areas, but one pivotal area is money management. Money management. There's too many leaks in my life. This need of mine to have fast food, DoorDash, Uber Eats rather. You know, what would that accrue into if I invested it instead of spent it on dumb stuff? Moving on. 14. What is the best advice I've received? What is the best advice I've ever received? Between the compound effect, that book alone, I'm telling you, it's life altering. When you read it and incorporate it, it changes your life today. Because you'll realize the value of every decision you're making. Every decision you make. After you read the compound effect, you'll realize every decision I make has consequences long term. Every decision I make has consequences long term. You'll be so careful, not indecisive, but you'll be so careful to make decisions once you realize the gravity of every decision you're about to make and that you have made. And that your life your life today is the end result of everything you've done in the past. It's not linear, but it accrues. It compounds. So yeah, between the compound effect and the teachings of Dr. Mike Murdoch. I would also throw in some Robert Greene. Dr. Mike Murdoch, his teachings, they're all on YouTube. There are millions of them. Pick one. Dr. Mike Murdoch, and just about any book from Robert Greene. Right now, I'm rereading 33 Strategies of War. 33 Strategies of War, Robert Greene, along with 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction. Pick one. Laws of Human Nature, the 50th Law. Pick any book by Robert Greene. Read Those books, read The Compound Effect, read Proverbs, listen to Dr. Mike Murdoch, Dr. Miles Monroe. Wisdom. The best advice, seek wisdom. It's why most of my days, if I have an alarm set, it's because I want to go make money. It's not because I need to go make money. It's not because I have to go to work. It's because I want to go to work. It's because I'm bored. I don't want to be bored. I want to go make some money so I can go spend it on something or invest it. The agility I experience daily, I dreamt of this in my 20s. I'm like, yo, if I can wake up on a Monday morning and have nowhere to be and no one to report to, the peace I would feel waking up to the sound of air conditioning, and I don't have child support coming out of my check, and I don't have someone nagging me and somebody's keying my car. I'm like, wisdom. Wisdom. My value for time came from my studying of wisdom. And again, it's not popular on purpose. It's meant to be hidden. It's like that on purpose. So those who find it, like, bro, this is a gold mine. Why are people not studying these simple concepts, these simple laws of nature, laws of the universe, these principles? Why are people not studying Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, Michael Saylor? Why are people just, I'd rather be entertained on TikTok. I'd rather be on TikTok, scrolling with these strangers talking about their dating lives and their struggles and choices. Seeking wisdom is the best advice I've ever received. It's given me every advantage in this world. I'd rather make quality decisions over the course of a lifetime, and over time you start getting momentum. You start realizing the distance between me and my peers, it's not even close. When all my peers are trying to pay off student loans, and I'm investing all my spare cash, our lives are supposed to be different. We made different decisions. Our lives are supposed to be different. The outcomes are supposed to be different. If we were equal, our outcomes will be somewhat similar. Seek wisdom is the best advice I've ever received, and it's the best advice I would give to anyone, old, young. Seek wisdom, study wisdom, strategy. Don't go through this life trying to figure it out on the fly. There's someone older than you that already made mistakes. Go ask them a question. Go read their books. Go read their autobiography. Moving on. 15. What would I say to the version of myself from a year ago? Where was I June of last year? I was here in Florida doing the Skill Bridge program. That was 2023. I was chilling probably at the beach. What would I say to the version of myself from a year ago? For one, I would mention playing the long game. It's part of wisdom. It's part of wisdom. Delay gratification is so valuable. If you study the history of Amazon, the company, Jeff Bezos, I'm sure you guys all know the name, but if you look at how he implemented his processes, his mechanisms, delay gratification. If people ordered their products yesterday, they want them today, if not same day. They want it instantly. If you look at the profits that Amazon were making, there weren't any until recently. They weren't profitable until recently. They weren't profitable until recently because they delayed their own gratification and they gave you your gratification ASAP. They want their little books. They want little trinkets. They want little dresses and little dusty toys and I need this attachment and this earrings and this outfit and these shoes. They make sure you get your stuff today, but they were patient. They're patient, realizing we're gonna win eventually. We're gonna win eventually, and it won't be close. Nvidia, we're gonna win eventually. Why everyone's praising Intel. x86 architecture. We're gonna focus on accelerating graphics performance. They're doing general computing. We're gonna focus on graphics. And now their lead, NVIDIA is what, the third most valuable company in the world, behind Apple and I think Microsoft. Not sure. Yeah, you're not gonna close that gap in a year, in 2 years. Intel's still trying to play catch up. It's not even close. That's the point of wisdom. That's the point of the compound effect, of realizing I don't need to beat you for the next 2 weeks straight. I need to beat you for the next year. I need to beat you daily, hourly. How can I do one small thing that gives me an advantage over all of my peers, if not most of the world? Discipline. Why? Because most people don't want to do it. Most people find it difficult to do it. They don't have the energy, the willingness. It's how you beat anyone. It's discipline. Professional athletes, they sweat all the small things, all of them. Tom Brady, he's been on his worldwide tour. The glaze on Tom Brady has been crazy. But if you listen to his words, he cares about details. Colin Cowherd, one of my favorite sports broadcasters, he does a 3-hour show Monday through Friday. 3 hours. I've been on her for an hour and a half. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to do a 3-hour show. But he does a 2-hour prep show before each one. He does a 2-hour practice show before he does his actual show, which is 3 hours long. Because he cares about the details. Details. The military, they're going to harp on, do you care about the details, or are you just trying to get it done quickly? Are you trying to just get it over with? Do you care about the details? The accuracy? So yeah, there are many things I would say to myself from a year ago. Be patient. Patient. Slow down. Relax. Invest in relationships. Platonic and intimate. Not every relationship should be intimate. Men struggle with this. All relationships should not be intimate. You got all your relationships with women, all of them are intimate? All of them? You haven't tapped into any of the intellectual capacity of the women around you? I know she bad, man. I see her too. But you haven't tapped into her intellectual capacity at all? At all? Every relationship with the male and female is intimate? I get it. Trust me. I get it. I get it. It's difficult. Testosterone is a beast, especially when you're healthy. You got proper testosterone levels, free testosterone. It's a beast. I know. But what if? What if you asked a question that wasn't, what color drawers you got on? What if the women around you had the answer to what you've been looking for years, but you've only been asking men? Because men are big and strong and logical. So you don't ask any of the women around you. Well, that's a choice. Mark Murdoch. So it's Mike Murdoch, rather. So Mike, Michael Murdoch, Murdock. Dr. Mike Murdoch. Quality information, especially concerning wisdom. He teaches wisdom. If you listen to him, you'll hear a lot of my sayings, a lot of my teachings come from him. He's up in age, probably 80 some years old. Very, it's life. He made decisions that weren't all quality in terms of fitness. And you see it. If you want to be anti-aging, the key to anti-aging is muscle. It's muscle. It's flexibility. How you deal with insulin. That's a whole thing. Moving on. 16. What have I achieved this year? So I know one thing I set out earlier in this year to achieve was I wanted to get in a relationship. And it wasn't just to get into a relationship. It was to pursue relationship in general, to pursue relationships, whether it was platonic or intimate. And I achieved both. One more so than the other. I have friends. I have friends now. A lot of them. A lot of them. It's not all about quantity. It's about quality. Now, I have both. I have quantity of friends and quality of friends. Tonight, we're taking up a whole row, like 10 seats at the movie theater. I never would have thought I would be sitting at the theaters with 10 people. I normally go by myself. Today, I just sent a nice, quiet little message in the group chat around 10 a.m. this morning. Yo, I'm going to movies tonight. Anybody want to go? Now I'm going to the movies with 10 people tonight. Relationships. There has been a ton of progress made in that area of my life where I'm not constantly just trying to figure out everything by myself, trying to enjoy life all by myself, going to the beach by myself, going bowling by myself, going to the golf course by myself. What's the point? What's the point? The best things in life are with people. They're with people. The progress I made financially in terms of the way I manage my money started December of last year. But it's been life-changing. Seeing up close and personal. First of all, the volatility of Bitcoin has been beautiful. And then people sleep on the S&P 500. It's the top 500 companies on the New York Stock Exchange. These are not just some random dusty companies. These are companies that are all around you in your house. You have all their products. You realize, yeah, you can buy ownership into these companies. Instead of just buying their products over and over again, you can buy the company. You can buy the company. So yeah, I've made great strides, both financially and socially in my life. And it's something that's tangible. It's something that you can feel it. You can see it. You can see the numbers go up. You can see the smiles on other people's faces when you guys interact, when you go out, when you go have dinner, with the Dave and Buster's a couple days ago. When you start getting those actual results, it feels good. It feels good. It gives you energy back. Money is energy. Socializing with people that you enjoy gives you more energy. 17. What obstacles did you face? What have you done to tackle them? The main obstacle, and I touched on this earlier, is fear. It's fear. A lot of these questions don't have complicated answers, nor should they. The main obstacle I face in my own life is fear. It's overthinking, anxiety, overthinking, thinking. Some things don't require thought. Sometimes you're already equipped. You don't need any more information. You don't need to go study. You need to go do. The act of doing. The act of doing prevents you sitting in your chair just overthinking and wondering, what if I do this, and what if they think this, and what if... That's the thought process of the poor. What if? Well, what if this fails? What if this happens? What if they don't like this? What if this doesn't happen? Go do. Go do. Courage takes around 20 seconds of your day at a time. 20 seconds. It's about how long it takes to be courageous at a time. And we overthink it. Well, I'm not really where I want to be at. And if I can just wait till I have this in order, and then if I need to grow myself, and I need to heal in this area, and I got trauma over here, and I got to fix this first, and I got to clean my bedroom, and I got to take a bath and shower. What if you just did? What if you just did? I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying, ruin your life. But what if you just, instead of overthinking, you just took action? What would your life look like? So yeah, the way I overcome a lot of my obstacles, especially as it relates to fear, is time. It's making speed the priority. I have plenty of knowledge in my head. Plenty, a surplus of knowledge. Now I just do. Just do it. I'm not gonna sit there and ponder and wonder and should I and will I? And I got 5 seconds to either do it or don't do it. Mel Robbins. 5, 4, 3, 2, go. Go do it. I love the results. I love the results of doing, of taking action. It allows me to sleep at night knowing I tried. It doesn't matter what it is. I tried. I gave it effort in the moment. I didn't overthink it. I tried. Went for it. When you watch movies, you love watching people go for it. Take a chance. No one watches a movie where they just kind of sit around and wonder. I'm going to sit on my couch and scroll TikTok. You would not watch that movie. You would not watch someone waste their life away sitting on the couch, scrolling, watching other people live their lives. You would not watch that. But you live that way. Moving on. 18. What am I worried about? What am I worried about? There's a quote that says, what you worry about the most is where you trust God the least. What am I worried about? One thing that does keep me up at night, more or less, is wondering if I'm wasting this opportunity I have in my life right now. A lot of you guys know I get disability from the Air Force, and it's a nice little chunk of change. In a lot of cases, it's more than Social Security. It's enough for me to live off of. It's more than enough for me to live off of. And I constantly ask myself, are you wasting the opportunity you have right now? The opportunity you prayed for and manifested and visualized. Are you wasting this opportunity? Are you properly investing? Are you traveling enough? I already traveled once internationally this year. Is that enough for the position you have in life? It's tough. There's no real answer to it. How does one know? That's one thing that does worry me, is like, am I doing enough in my day? Have I tried enough things? How much is enough? How little is too little? Many people fail because they try too little things just as much as they fail trying too many things. Where's the balance? Is there a balance? Should there be a balance? It's quite easy to talk yourself into anxiety. The greatest way to overcome worry is action. Doing. And not waiting till you think you're ready, because you won't ever be ready. You always think, if I had an extra $1,000, then I'll be ready. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying be foolish. But thinking that you'll be in a perfect position to try, no, you'll have enough resources to start, to embark, to attempt, to begin. You don't got to complete it today. You have to start today. Facts. That's why I'm taking a trip to LA tomorrow. I'm too much in my head as well. Need to pivot and change surroundings at least for a couple days. That's facts. Enjoy yourself. A lot of people rationalize credit card use. I'm like, well, I don't want to be 60 years old. Wait till I'm 60 to start traveling. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying be impatient. I'm saying don't wait till you have $3,500 when you could go on $3,100. If you save up enough money, you were patient, you trusted the process, you invested, worked hard, you worked overtime. Why would you wait until you have? If I have $5,000, well, I only have $4,800. You can go on $4,800. You can go much less. You're overthinking it. We do two more. I feel my energy dropping, and I don't want to half-ass any of these. I do appreciate everybody coming through. Those who interacted, those who asked questions, left comments. I'm grateful. 19. What's most important to me in my life? And what am I doing about that? What's most important to me in my life? And what am I doing about that? So it's between a couple things. Relationships and travel. The issue is combining the two. It's easy to do each individually and respectively. It's difficult to combine them because unless I'm going to pay for everything, which I'm definitely not, I typically have to travel alone because I travel spontaneously, rather. And travel spontaneously either means that you're paying for everybody going with you or everybody around you got their own bread. And corresponding amount of time to spend that bread. And so, of course, it's not as easy to travel with people as it is to travel alone. But then also want to invest in relationships, which requires time and effort and presence. Which one takes priority? The question I ask, what would I regret not doing? I think the answer is quite simple. It's traveling. Relationships can be maintained from thousands of miles away. Most of the time they are. But traveling, not so much. Not so much. Of course, you can go on YouTube and I'm gonna wear my AirPods, my what was it called? I can't think what it's called. The Apple headset thing. I'm gonna enjoy Singapore from my bed. I guess you could do that. It's not the same. What's most important to me in my life? Options is the correct answer. Agility is the correct answer. But more specifically, exploration, discovery. It's quite easy to become depressed in the life that I live because it's quite predictable. It's quite orderly. It doesn't change much. There isn't much chaos to point to in my life because I just don't allow for it. There isn't much room in my life for chaos. I don't allow it, which makes my life quite boring, if I were to use the adjective. Now it definitely has advantages, but yeah, it feels boring, and so I kind of crave excitement, discovery, spontaneity, serendipity, novelty. I enjoy those things, diversity, quantity, along with quality. What am I doing about that? How am I showing that I value what I value? Planning, discipline. It's the easiest way to get to where I'm trying to get. It's how I got to where I'm at currently. It's discipline. There's 24 hours in a day. There's plenty of time to have fun and be disciplined in the same day. You got to prioritize. Number 20. What do I want to do differently? What do I want to do differently? I want to take more risks. Most risks aren't going to kill you. Most people aren't even living. Society isn't that dangerous. It's dangerous enough. Most people are not living out on a ledge and to the place where their life is in danger by taking risks. I want to take more risks. I want to try more things. Try more things that other people aren't willing to try. Simply due to proximity, fear, time investment, monetary investment. I'll take more risks. You have no idea how your life could change so quickly by taking more risks, realizing that most people aren't. There isn't much competition for risk taking, especially when the risks are higher and the consequences are higher and carry more gravity. There's more real estate available for those who are willing to take risks. Let's do a couple more. 21. When was the last time I stepped out of my comfort zone? Today. I did not want to come on live at all. But I knew I needed to. This desk has been set up for a minute. This camera's been set up for a minute. And I'm like, I need to go live. I need to talk some things out. And I was comfortable in my bed, scrolling TikTok. I already worked this morning. I'm like, I don't need to go anywhere until 9-something tonight when we go to movies. But then I realized, there's progress to be made. Not all at once, but just today. Today. Just today. I try to get rejected daily. I mentioned this previously. The attempt at getting rejected daily. First of all, it gives me energy every time I am rejected, which again, it's rare. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it is rare, but also I just don't. I don't approach that often. For what? First of all, I don't want people to say yes that I don't actually want. You know, I don't take risks for things I don't actually want. Asking for a donut, I know I'm not gonna eat. Like I don't. Why would you ask for sugar? Like ask for something else. Often, kind of making predictions that I know are accurate. If I ask for this coffee for free, would they say yes? Would they say no? It's not the point. The point is to ask. 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 It's the easiest way to get anything. We just assume no most of the time. What if I just asked, can I have this house? The answer 9 times out of 10 is going to be no. But most people do not ask, can I have your car? Ask for it. "22. What advice would I give someone younger than me?" Read the compound effect. Read the compound effect. Understand the consequences of your decisions long term, not only short term, but long term, and how they accrue over time. Understand the power of compounding decision making, not just interest, not just money and how it relates to monetary policy and interest rates. Who cares? Decision making. Decision making. Did you get a new car and watch it depreciate 25% as you drove off the lot? Or did you go take cash, $1,500, and go buy you a Honda and drive that for the next 10 years and invest the cash that you would have spent on the new car? Decisions. I've made those same mistakes. Did you use your credit cards to start a business? Or did you use your credit cards to shop on Amazon? Decision making. People always ask the question, how do rich people start if you had money? So if it was easy for you to start a company. How do I start a company if I have no money? Well, y'all both have debt. Y'all both got credit cards. You both got loans. What did you use yours for? The jeans I'm wearing. What'd you use yours for? I paid a lawyer. Different decisions. Different decisions. And along with that, I would also mention to my younger self, study wisdom. Study wisdom. Study wisdom. Wisdom will also tell you the value of relationships and mentorship and having accountability and being vulnerable. All these underlying principles fall under wisdom, studying wisdom. You don't got to be old to have experience. I don't need my own experience. I can get your experiences. I can learn from your experiences, from your books, from your failures, from your successes. You know how quick that is? You know how quick that adds up? A 70-year-old writes a book. Read their book. Read their book. Wisdom. Study wisdom. Seek mentorship. Ooh, I like this one. 23. What would I do if I knew I was going to die soon? I'm going to answer this one literally. What would I do if I knew I was going to die soon? For one, I'm going to the airport today, now. I'm going to the airport, and I'm probably never touching foot in the United States ever again. And I'm going to travel until I max all my credit cards out. And then I'm just going to probably retire from my travels in maybe the Philippines. Yeah, probably the Philippines. South America. Southeast Asia. Yeah, I'm probably just going to settle down next to somebody's water on somebody's island and sip margaritas until the Lord calls me home. Simple. My heart's desire is to see every country in this world. Every country. To meet people that I should have never seen based on where I was born at. And, my family's history and my upbringing. Experience the things that most people don't know exist. But yeah, I definitely would not be in the U.S. Going to see movies. Ugh, for what? Going to restaurants, going on dates. Nigga, for what, man? I'm out. A great follow-up question to this question would be, why am I not doing those things currently? Delayed gratification, patience, discipline, a lot of different reasons. It's something always to ask yourself. Whenever you kind of lose track of what you're doing in life, just think of death. Think of death. Whenever you get overwhelmed by something that should not be overwhelming you, something that is really, in the grand scheme of life, not that big of a deal, think about death. Think about how you're not getting out of this life alive. You're not going to escape this world while breathing. You're not going to make it safely to death. Death is coming for you. Death comes for you. You don't come for death. Death comes for you. The only way you come for death would be through foolishness and through other means that we won't discuss. Moving on. 24. How do I want other people to remember me when I'm dead? Legacy. How do I want other people to remember me when I'm dead? I make these videos for multiple reasons, but one of them being the money. Secondly, the legacy. Dr. Mike Murdoch has changed my life in ways I don't think he will ever know. I don't think he will ever know my name, Raymond Isaiah. Ravi Zacharias has passed. John Lennox, still alive, up in age. Dr. Miles Monroe's passed on. Jim Rohn, I'm not even sure if he's alive or dead. I'm honestly not sure. Charlie Munger, dead, gone. But when I tell you that the value of the wisdom that they've imparted out into the world, whether it be on the internet, or over the radio, on television, it's changed my life greatly. The value of someone telling me, hey, watch out for that. And then you watch out for that. And you see other people not watch out for that. And they get harmed by it. And you realize, oh, that could have happened to me. What is the value of that? How valuable is avoiding pain and danger and life-altering, painful, negative decisions? I would like for it to be said of me that I helped people avoid foolishness, avoid pain, avoid mistakes, avoid ruining their lives. Because Ray just, he said it. He warned me. Watch out for this. Watch out for this. Seeing my brother go through the Air Force a little bit easier than I went through. That's the value of wisdom. And like, why should they struggle just as much as I struggled? If I can just tell them, hey, don't do that, do this. Why should I struggle as much as my father struggled when I can just listen to what he says? My dad used to constantly tell us, hey, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. My dad wears dentures. He said they used to call him yuck mouth because he never brushed his teeth. He just never took care of his hygiene. Well, he saved me the life of trying to explain why I take my teeth out at night. He saved me from that experience. Wisdom. That's the value of wisdom. Is, do I want other people to suffer like I suffered because it should be all, I want it to all be equal. And that's the issue with the internet. And a lot of people that complain is that the information is all available. It's free already. It's on the internet already. All you have to do is have a goal and a question, and you get access to answers. But complaining is much easier. Why is my channel not growing like everybody else's channel? Is that a mystery, Ray? Is that a mystery? Why am I lonely? Is that a mystery? Or are there answers on the internet? Are there whole entire live streams? Are there all these events going on around you, but you don't want to go? But you're lonely. I don't want to interact with strangers. That's your fault. That's your fault. Everyone's a stranger before they're not a stranger. That's your fault. Information, all the answers, all the solutions, all the resolutions, they're all available today, right now. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I would like on my epitaph to be, he studied wisdom and he shared his wisdom. Studied wisdom, he shared wisdom, he tried, he gave effort, he attempted, he was courageous. He was afraid just like everyone else, but he tried. He had an amazing imagination where he visualized the way he wanted his life to look, and he pursued it. He pursued it while everyone else was pursuing 9 to 5 jobs. Everyone else was pursuing corporate corner offices and degrees and keeping up with the Joneses and looking cool. Ray took a different path. He lived a life that was exciting, that was spontaneous in nature. He lived a life of adventure. He told the truth. He felt fear, but he made wise decisions. And the result of his life was one of peace and of quality experiences and of sweet aromas and amazing tasting food and healthy and vibration. And he lived a different life by design. And a lot of people think like, I'm gonna get a do-over when this life is over. Well, once this life is over, I'm gonna start over and do it differently. Like, you're more than welcome to think that. You're more than welcome to think that you just get a do-over after this life is over. I'm not gonna start over, and then I'll pursue what I actually want. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying a lot of people are not trying. I'm surrounded by people who don't try. They settle. They wait for things to happen to them. I'm gonna wait for good things to just fall in my lap. Good luck. The proof of desire is pursuit. The proof of desire is pursuit. There should be evidence of your desire in the actions that you take daily and hourly. 25. To what extent have I determined the course of my own life? That's a good question. To what extent have I determined the course of my own life? I don't think I think far enough ahead. It's something as I mentioned earlier, it does worry me. Am I truly maximizing the opportunity I have right now, today? I'm doing better today than I did yesterday. I'm doing better today than I did yesterday. To what extent have I determined the course of my own life? The way I answer this question or read this question would be, what areas of my life am I complaining about rather than taking action in? What areas of my life have I left up to chance and wishful thinking and fate and hoping? Relationships. I try to set rules for myself. I'm like, you should be doing at least one date a week, at least 1 day a week. Get the apps open. Got matches in there. Go talk to them. Go. What do you like to do in your free time? What are you looking for? It's exhausting. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. I think we all have areas in our lives where we kind of wait for things to happen. I'm like, it's going to happen to you when you least expect it. How many good things happen that way? Pain works that way. Pain often works that way. No one plans their pain. It's mostly a surprise when pain happens. But the good things, yeah, you got to plan those things. The good events, the happy moments, you can plan those. You should plan those. Instead of leaving it to fate, hoping that, oh yeah, I'm just going to meet the love of my life randomly from my bed. Like they're going to knock on my window and have their way with me. It's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen that way. What's the point of having free will if things just happen to us, both good and bad? And often we perceive things to be good and bad. Most things are just opportunities. Most things are just opportunities, both good and bad. Bad things are opportunities. That's what most things in life are. Opportunities and the results of opportunities. So yeah, this is a good question, mainly in regards to it kind of highlights we all have those areas of our lives where we think it's gonna work itself out. If I leave it alone long enough, it'll just kind of work. It'll just kind of work itself out, and you'll figure it out. Good luck. Good luck. 26. What makes you smile or gives you energy? A quality interaction, a quality exchange with a person, a people that I enjoy spending time with. When I do my Amazon routes, occasionally the owner will be coming out the door or like in their car while I'm walking up the driveway, and I practice giving those moments of "What's going on, sir?" Just kind of overly doing it. And one thing you will notice in those moments of "What's going on, sir? How you doing, man?" Just big old smile, and just give that first word, that first interaction, energy. And you notice every single time you get that same energy back. Every time, without fail. The energy I give to that moment typically is reciprocated almost instantly. And it results in 5 to 10 minute conversations. You're talking to people in some quality neighborhoods, gated communities, people that you would never have an opportunity to speak with in any other moment. You guys just wouldn't cross paths normally, but serendipity takes place. Novelty takes place where you get a conversation, 3 to 5 minute conversation that may include information that you were not planning on giving and they weren't planning on giving to you, or vice versa. And that comes through energy, exchanging energy, giving without expectation. They may not reciprocate. I'm going to give them energy first. And you'd be amazed the end results that come from that. What makes you smile? What makes me smile? What makes Ray smile? Winning. Yeah, that's goes without saying for the most part. I love winning. I love competing. I love making progress. I love the feeling of progress. I love achieving. I love discovery. Love serendipity. The act of discovering something you weren't expecting to discover that happens to be right in your wheelhouse, something that actually you love. I'm like, how did I discover this thing I love? Serendipity. By trying things and just kind of coming across something through the act of trying. I love quality and results. Love quality and results. I've had my fill with Airbnbs, just kids and ugh. 27. We're almost done. When I'm not feeling well or in pain, what's the best way to look after myself? That's a good one. When I'm not feeling well or in pain, what's the best way to look after myself? Rest. Rest. The body is quite intelligent, from the microbiome to the actual brain itself. Your body is highly intelligent. It knows things without you having to go like learn in a book somewhere. It's called involuntary behavior. Your blood pressure doesn't have to ask you for permission like when you're about to run. It just knows. Your cortisol spikes without your permission. It's involuntary. It works. Rest is an achievement. It's an achievement. It's something that you achieve once you give into it. A lot of us resist it. I'm like, go take a nap for what? It's not productive. How would you feel after that nap? And how much would your work product improve after you rested versus you just kind of muscled through it? It's kind of like what I'm doing with these last couple questions, just kind of muscling through them. Like, I don't have to come back on here and start mid list. Maybe my effort towards these last 10 or so questions would be higher by 10-15%. Who knows? But sometimes rest is the achievement that you're looking for. Sometimes subtraction is the solution that you're looking for while you're trying to add and multiply and add on and do more and take on more. What if the solution was do less, relax, slow down, prioritize, focus. Pick one thing from the list that you're going to do today. One thing. You wake up in the morning, I'm tired. Pick one thing that you're going to do today. One thing. What is the one thing I'm going to accomplish today? If I accomplish nothing else, what is the one thing I'm going to accomplish today? Is it going to the gym? I'm just going to go to the gym and walk the treadmill. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. After I walk the treadmill, I'm going to come back home. I'm getting in the bed. I'm getting in the bed. I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm just going to sleep the day away. But I accomplished that one thing. Some of us won't reach the finish line because we run ourselves raggedy, that we try to sprint the marathon called life. You're not going to make it. Your health is going to keep you from getting there. Your bad habits, your lack of nutrition, your lack of rest, your lack of sleep. Simple things. Your vitamin D levels. Are you getting enough sun? Probably not. Are you supplementing? Probably not. Some of us haven't had a checkup in years for whatever reason. I've been getting all my information from YouTube and TikTok. That's well and good. But we have professionals for a reason. 10 years plus of education. And we think we're just going to kind of supplement our way. You're more than welcome to try. But again, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. I want all the best opinions. Even the wrong ones. Even the wrong ones. When I'm not feeling well or in pain, what's the best way to look out for myself? People. Being around people that make me smile, that make me laugh. I found some Haitian boys down here, and these youngins can dance their behind off. Like, these boys, it's just a vibe. You get around the right people, and you just realize, life can be a lot of things that we struggle with is because we're doing it alone. Some things are not meant to be dealt with in isolation. Trying to have a conversation by myself, it's different. It's not difficult at all. It's just getting out all my thoughts. But a conversation flows a lot more easily when there's two people. It just works better that way. Cuddling works so much better when it's two people versus one. For some reason, that works out like that. Sex, it's best with two people. A lot of millions of people have sex by themselves. Millions of people. But it's something about having two people. Something about two people having sex that it just works better. A lot of us are trying to get through this life by ourselves. And we wonder why we're sick. We're sickly. Oh, I'm going to raise these children by myself. That's not ideal. That's just why it's more difficult. Because it wasn't designed that way. Marriage sucks when it's just one person. Not that I would know. One of the best ways for me to recover from just about anything, especially mental pains and mental struggles, is to get around people. Get around people. Stop thinking about yourself. The more you think about yourself, the more miserable you will be. The more you think about yourself, the more miserable you will be. Anxiety is thinking about yourself. Just think about yourself. Me. How do I feel? What am I thinking about? How do they view me? How do they think about me? What are they thinking about in regards to me? How do they feel about me? What are they saying about me? Are they laughing about me? It's circular. Imagine you spent a whole day thinking about other people. And how can I give to them? And how can I help them? And how can I make them smile? And how can I make their day better? And how can I be a better service to them? How can I help them out? How can I help them avoid the mistakes I've made? How can I give to them? Imagine if relationships were like that. Imagine if you went into your relationship, platonic or intimate, and just thought about them. Thought about them. How can I make them and their day and their future? How can I help and give to them? You will heal a lot of parts of yourself by giving. By giving. 28. Have I achieved my goals? Why or why not? Oh my goodness. Have I achieved my goals? Why or why not? This is the issue with the hedonic treadmill. Because I personally always feel like if I just have a little bit more, if I could just get a little bit more, I feel like I'll be better off. Just a tad bit. I need a little bit more. If I just get a little bit more sleep, a little bit more money, a couple more friends, a couple more opportunities to go out with friends, a couple more drinks, a couple more. I just need more. It's a never-ending cycle of need and wanting. Like if I just get a little bit more, one more outfit, one more pair of shoes, I need that one more thing. It never ends. You'll be stuck in a lifetime of pursuing more. That's why I love compound interest, because it works with what you already have. What you already earned grows. The money you already made is growing. You're not having to go out and get more. What you have already is growing, because you're being a good steward over what you currently have. I've achieved many of my quantitative goals, but there's something seemingly missing in terms of the quality of my life. There's something off. I'm like, if I just get one more relationship, if I can just get another girlfriend, if I can just have sex one more time for 10 more additional minutes with 10% more intensity. Yeah. Hedonic treadmill is undefeated. It's undefeated. Most of my goals that I've set for myself have been achieved, and I've recently set bigger goals because I have to have something to chase. I got to wake up with something that I'm going in pursuit of. But in terms of the goals I set in my 20s, most of them have been accomplished already. Most of them. But yeah, learning to be content puts the fire out. Learning to be content and being grateful and realizing I don't need more. I need to maximize what I have. I need to manage and steward what I have. I don't need more. I have plenty. I'm not managing what I have coming through my hands. I love the analogy of the addicted gambler. If I was addicted to gambling, I would have thousands of dollars flowing through my hands, going to somebody's money line, betting the under. Money would be flowing through my hands if I was addicted to gambling. If I had a heroin problem, money would be flowing through my hands. Flowing from one person to my hands temporarily to somebody's bookie, to somebody's trap. Where's that money now? It's still there, still available. Our focus shifts so often and so quickly that we don't realize how much money is really coming through my hands. Over my lifetime, how much money have I made? Over my lifetime, how much money has come through my hands already? And where is it now? Where is it? All the trash that you've ever thrown away is still here. It's still on Earth. It's somewhere. It's still on planet Earth. It's still here. The broom you threw away 2-3 years ago, it's still here. It's not in your eyesight. It hasn't left. The wrappers that we throw away, it's still there. It has not moved. The money that we made years ago, it's still in circulation. It's still on planet Earth. It's in someone's wallet right now. Someone else's wallet. Like, what if I could just hold on to like 10% more of the money that's already come through my hands? What if I invested 10% of all the money I've ever made? All of it. If I just invested 10% of that money, how much money would that be? The thought is frightening. Thinking about how much money has already flown through my hands that I just kind of let keep going. And I just, it'll come back. The assumption that it'll be back. No, it's going to end up in someone else's interest-bearing account. It's going to sit there for decades, if not your entire lifetime. If all the money was reset today, all the billionaires were made into normal people, if everyone started on a clean slate tomorrow, there's no billionaires, there's no millionaires, there's no thousandaires, there's no people with jobs. We're just going to distribute all the money evenly to every human being on planet Earth. Give it time, give it a couple years. All that money will end up back in the same 1-2% hands. The money will end up right back where it started, because it's the mindsets. So yeah, setting huge goals and I want to achieve this and make more money and do this and spend this and go here and do all this. There's a consequence to that. And you realize, if I can just think like the people that keep accumulating money somehow, I can start doing the same thing they're doing with much less effort. Much less effort. You don't. All these billionaires work more hours than you. Elon Musk works more hours than you. The CEO of NVIDIA works more hours than you. The CFOs, the CEOs, the CIOs, the just CTOs, chief technology officers, they all work more than you. All of them. All of them. They're working more hours, more days, more holidays. They're going to one less soccer practice, one less basketball game, one less recital. They make more money than you for a reason. Because once they get the money, they also know what to do with it. Reinvesting. How many dollars have you reinvested of all the money that's coming through your hands? Not into other companies, but into yourself. It's a scary thought. Something to think about. A couple more. What do I want to take from this year into next year? What do I want to take from this year into next year? My relationships. I don't want to lose any relationships. I want to accrue relationships. This idea that we're just going to start cutting people off left and right because they say something, they do something, we had a falling out, misunderstanding, and we just think, yeah, there's billions of other people, I'll just let them in. You don't like most people. Most people don't like most people. That's what makes friendships and relationships valuable, is the fact that most people you won't get along with. Most people you're going to disagree with on fundamental issues. And the people that you agree with on certain issues, that's why relationships have value. Is because you guys agree on certain things, you disagree on certain things, but you have more in common than you disagree on. I want to take my relationships, I want to take some of the money I've made this year into next year, accruing interest. A lot of people sleep on the power of compounding. That's why I constantly talk about it. The compounding effect, about how you should not be losing over time. You should be gaining over time. The more knowledge and wisdom you accrue over time should result in better relationships. Your assets should be increasing in value. You should not be accruing liabilities. You're losing money. You're losing time. You're losing effort and energy. Decision making. Number 30. How can you make next year a better or nicer year? Was this the first question? Sounds like it. Wisdom and discipline. Wisdom, discipline, and consistency. Simple. Learning from my mistakes that I've made this year and not repeating them. I don't see the point of repeating the same lesson over and over again. You learned it once. Now apply it. You don't need more information. You don't need more quotes. You don't need more teachers, more mentors. You need to apply the information you already have. And lastly, what is the first step you want to take in the new year? What is the first step I want to take in the new year? What is the first step you want to take in the new year? I'll say this. I want to look back at this year and not have regrets. I don't want to look back at this year and regret and wish and wonder, what if, all those videos I made talking about wisdom and discipline and consistency, what if I would apply that to my own life? How would my life look like? I want to look back at this year and say I applied most of what I knew to do. I made quality decisions. And now my life is benefiting from it in this new year. I don't want to carry a bunch of foolishness from all the previous New Year's resolutions and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do this whole year. I'm gonna achieve this and I'm gonna have this relationships and these relationships and then you walk into the new year starting over again, starting from scratch. I'm like, well, I have no money, no friends, no relationships. The relationships I had, I lost. The money I had, I lost or gave away. Starting over again. What is the point of doing that? What is the point of doing that? The purpose of this life is not materialism. It's not to accrue stuff. But if you're losing stuff, you're making wrong decisions somewhere. Somewhere in your decision making is flawed logic. You should be gaining in most areas of your life, just off the simple fact of compounding decision making, and how one decision affects the next decision, it compounds. No matter what comes to your mind, it compounds. If you think you're getting away with something, you're not. It's going to compound. And so yeah, January 1st of 2025, I want to look back and be grateful and proud of myself that the decisions I set out to make, I made consistently. The discipline that I aspired to have, I pursued it. I was disciplined. I went to the gym. If not only just to walk the treadmill, I went. The money that I invested, it wasn't a lot, but I invested. Every paycheck I got, I invested. I didn't touch it. My savings, I grew it. It accrued interest, and it's still there. I didn't spend it on a PS5, PS6. I didn't blow it on strippers. The trips I wanted to take, I took them. It didn't end in tragedy because I tried cocaine because I thought it would be cool, add a little twist to my trip. No, I made quality decisions even while on vacation. I made quality decisions even in different countries. I didn't dip my toe into the world of prostitution and get burned in the process. No. And again, it's difficult. Quality decision making is difficult. But once you realize that everyone around you is just kind of feeling their way through life and just kind of, I guess I'll try this and I guess I'll figure it out when I get there and I guess I'll just kind of, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate everybody that stayed the majority of this live stream, but rewatch it if you need to. Ask yourself these questions. Write them down if you need to. I'll see you on the next video. Say what's good to your boy. And yeah, I'll be in touch.